Hello and welcome, I am King's Decree with MMOplay.com to review Galaxy Legend for iOS and Android, a free-to-play strategy game. Galaxy Legend is a sort of nifty mini space battle simulator. Choose from a variety of ships that all have their own strengths and weaknesses to take down the rebel pirates trying to destroy everything you care about. All along the way, you acquire allies to bolster your forces, currency to provide much needed repair or upgrades, and the truth behind all the madness. All that and more to follow. From cool ship designs to awesome combat effects, Galaxy Legend just looks great. The world base you start on and even characters you meet have their own unique look that help to flesh out the sci-fi world. I mean, come on, how often do you see robots with hair? The dynamic level select particularly impressed me with how much the formula is shaken up. Instead of a static path-to-path point, your ship is actually out there in space and you're free to move around. Typically you'll just head to the next battle, but along the way wreckage may appear that needs some examining. It seems small, but cramming as much player choice and involvement in any way, shape, or form makes for a much more immersive experience. While the game looks pretty amazing, the music and sound effects don't get such a treatment. Blasters sound like something from a Flash game along with some routine sci-fi adventure music. The combat is a unique twist on an old concept. Initially, the player begins with one, and soon after, two ships that they can put on a 3x3 grid. Even where you put your first two ships early on is important in deciding whether or not you can actually survive. The core ship, you as a player, have an archetypal warrior ship which incurs being pretty beefy along with a high attack power. The second ship is much more squishy, but with a much higher attack power. Placing that second low HP ship in the front row instead of the furthest back, and then it will die almost immediately as enemies will focus fire whomever is closest with some slight deviation. After placing all units and choosing the skill to take in the battle, you are taken to a no involvement combat scenario. Watch your ships either destroy or be destroyed. While there is much to be said regarding pre-battle strategy, taking control away from the player is always a poor decision. Granted, this game is supposed to be mobile friendly, but even allowing the player to tap specific targets would be enough to keep you interested in what's going on. Not to mention that could bring a whole nother level of strategy with both enemy types and player ships. There have been so many battles where if I could just do something as simple as use my charged up skill on my command instead of instantly, or pick which enemy I attack, could turn a loss into a win. You could spend all day placing your ships in the right position and still lose due to how random the entire battle is. To be fair, as you progress further and further throughout the game, you have access to more and more ships and upgrades to help take away from that randomness. For example, a defender ship that you place on the front row of the grid to absorb enemy attacks. And before I forget, there is something about story, something pirates, and awful dialogue, of course. Moving on. Coming back from combat bloodied and exhausted, the last thing you want to do is build facilities and deal with some crazy old dude. Well, too bad. Using your currency, build and then upgrade buildings, which will help you numerous ways, from restoring health to allowing new upgrades to be completed and even recruiting new ships. Staying on top of upgrades is essential to success. Also to be done back home are elite challenges, which are a series of very difficult single missions that require you at your very best to complete. The very best commanders will receive upgrade blueprints to help maximize your ship's potential. And of course, player versus player is also included. Start at the bottom and fight enemy after enemy to climb to the top for better and better rewards. The neat thing about this game mode is that it's not a static beat someone and get X number of rank points. Instead, when you beat someone, you trade rank position. Say you're rank about 1200 and you face a rank 800. When you beat them into the space ground, you get to take their rank 800 and they're stuck with your previous rank 1200. Granted, you typically only fight people in a 100 or so rank range, but it's still a pretty cool system. Galaxy Legend takes old concepts and spins them into user and on-the-go friendly, all while looking pretty amazing, although it has its own share of problems, of course. The randomness in battle and generally having no control leads to this game become boring fast. While choosing where ships go pre-battle can lead to some strategy, all you need to do is to upgrade them so much that they can't be touched anyway. And it becomes routine with nothing to gain but stats after a while. And in the actual space level select, there isn't actually anything to explore despite giving the player some control. It would have been nice to see some story or dialogue stuffed in there like they do in Faster Than Light so expertly. Fun for a couple of hours to explore the concepts and look at all the pretty battles, but it does get old fast. Thus, I give this game a pleasant 7 out of 10. Once again, I've been King's Decree with MMOplay.com, presenting my review for Galaxy Legend. Thanks for watching.